Imagine that you are driving down the road of life. Everything is going well, until suddenly, a hole appears in the path. You try to dodge, but there's no time. The car shakes, a tire goes flat, the engine starts making noise. And now? Without money saved, repairing the car becomes a huge problem. This hole is like life's financial emergencies: unpredictable, inconvenient, and expensive. That's why the emergency fund exists. Having an emergency fund is like having a financial parachute. It is your support for when things go according to plan, a strategic reserve that prevents you from falling into debt or compromising other dreams due to unforeseen events. But, after all, what is an emergency fund? Why do you need it? And, most importantly, how do you start? Today, we will answer all these questions. And, in the end, you will realize that building this security is simpler and more urgent than you imagine. Think about everything that could go wrong: losing your job, a medical emergency, an unexpected repair to the house, or that refrigerator that decides to stop working during the hottest week of the year. These situations do not warn. They arrive, and if you're not prepared, they can turn into real nightmares. Now, imagine the opposite. The same pothole in the road, but this time, you know you have money set aside for emergencies. Car repair? Solved without stress. Your life goes on normally. This is not luck, nor magic. It's planning. And the best part? It is accessible planning for anyone willing to take the first step. The emergency fund is not just saved money. It is the difference between losing sleep because of an unforeseen event or facing the problem calmly. It is your guarantee that, even in the face of uncertainty, you are in control. But how much money do I need in my emergency fund? You may be asking. And that's a great question. The answer depends on your reality. A good rule of thumb is to accumulate between 3 and 6 months of your fixed expenses. Let's simplify. If you spend $1,000 a month on rent, food, transportation, and basic bills, the ideal would be to have between $3,000 and $6,000 in your fund. Now, if you are self-employed or have a variable income, the tip is to be even more conservative. Having 6 to 12 months of guaranteed expenses is the safest option. This is because, in these situations, the flow of money may be less predictable. And if you're thinking, "But I'll never be able to put it all together," take a deep breath. You don't have to do this all at once. Building an emergency fund is a process. Small steps lead to big results. Here's a story to inspire you. Carla, a teacher, found it impossible to save money. "My salary is barely enough for the basics," she said. Until, one day, the pipes in her house burst and she had to borrow money. This snowballed. She fell behind on bills, started paying interest, and spent months trying to recover. After this experience, Carla decided to change. He started small, setting aside 5% of his salary every month. He also sold objects he no longer used. Little by little, he built his emergency fund. In less than a year, she had enough money to cover 3 months of expenses. And do you know the best? He never again needed to despair because of unforeseen events. Carla's secret was consistency. Building an emergency fund is not about earning a lot, but about creating the habit of saving. Want to get started? Here are the steps. Set your goal. Calculate your monthly expenses and establish the amount you want to achieve. Set aside the money. Open an account just for your emergency fund. This prevents you from mixing resources and ending up spending without realizing it. Automate. Set up automatic transfers to your account as soon as you receive your income. Adjust your budget. Small temporary cuts, like making coffee at home or canceling rarely used services, can make a difference. Increase your income. Extra work or selling items you no longer use can speed up the process. But where do you store your emergency fund? This decision is important because the objective is not to multiply the money, but to ensure that it is safe and accessible. A simple savings account works well because it is safe and has immediate liquidity. CDBs with daily liquidity are also great, as they offer more yield without giving up security. Another option is conservative fixed income funds. What should you avoid? High-risk investments such as stocks or cryptocurrencies. Remember, this money is for emergencies, not speculation. When the unexpected happens, you need quick access without surprises. Now, let's say you've already achieved your goal. Congratulations! But that doesn't mean the work is over. Maintaining your emergency fund is just as important as building it. If you need to use part of the money, replace it as soon as possible. It's like recharging your cell phone battery. You never want to run out of power when you need it most. And remember, as your life changes, so do your needs. A salary increase, new expenses, or even the arrival of a child may require adjustments to the fund. The important thing is that it follows your reality. An emergency fund is much more than a bank account. He is freedom. It is your power to say, I am prepared, even in the face of the unexpected. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. It's the foundation that supports bigger dreams, because it gives you the security to fly without fear. Now I ask you, what will be your first step? Maybe open an account today. Maybe it's setting aside a small part of your income. The important thing is to start. As the saying goes, better a small fund now than no security tomorrow. If this content made sense to you, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. This way, you don't miss any videos that can transform your relationship with money. And tell me in the comments, what are you going to do today to start building your emergency fund? Let's do this together.